What's up, everybody? I'm back, and I'm doing another tier list. A little bit different than what I've been doing last time, updating my tier list quality level here. But I'm finally getting around to doing a Super Smash Bros. Characters tier list, and it sounds like there's any perfect time. With all the characters that we know are going to be in Ultimate are out, and I have taken notes on all of them, including all the characters in the main game, which I did 71 of the main characters, but I am also going to include Mii Brawler, which is I don't have in the main game, but you can get a good feel for that. And then also the 12 DLC characters, and I will specify a few things. So the tier list I found has them a little bit separated, a little bit differently than I do. So we're going to rank all those, and here we go. So, and there we go. There's all the characters. Well, that's the tiers, S through F. Not original, I know, but, it's whatever. And then there's all the characters. Credit to the person who made this list. They did a really good job, so that's really good. Because we got 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, so yeah. I think 7 rows of 13. Sorry about that. It's 7 times 13. That should be 91. Yep. So 91 characters on here. However, again, they're grouped a little bit differently in my book than they are for this person. So that's just going to have to be fixed. But, oh, well. All right. Anyway, here we go. We're starting with Mario. I got lists on these, by the way. I got notes. I got my notes. I took my notes on these because this took me over 2 days to play through all the characters because they are long. A lot of characters. We're starting with Mario, though. And I think he's a pretty good, easy C tier here. He has a very simple moveset. It's pretty effective if you can use it correctly. His recovery, though, isn't great. His final smash is also pretty mid. This gives us a lot of these characters where I think where their final smashes were, if they have good final smashes, I would say it's unique from like his B move. It's pretty much the same thing as just the final smash. It's easy to avoid. And it's not a really high guarantee death unless you're like a 200% damage. So it doesn't really make him that useful of a character. That's why I think he is a good starting character in the game, as he should be, and so that's why he's a good C tier, middle of the road character. Then we go. Donkey Kong is next. The recovery on Donkey Kong, as it is for most of the heavier characters, is very, very, very bad. The final smash, however, is extremely effective. As a heavy character, he's also very hard to launch, making him very useful in higher percentage situations for damage. It's very other moves, however, besides his final smash. I mean, there's a few that do some things, but they in general they're usually not that effective. And like there's some characters you can throw them in the ground and stun them, that kind of thing. He has that, and that's pretty good. I am gonna put Donkey Kong in the B tier. That's because I do think he does a step up from the generic stuff, like the base level characters, like the mid-level characters. But he's not the greatest character you can use. He definitely has his flaws, and one of them especially is the recovery. It is absolutely horrid. So, Link is one of the many sword fighting characters in Smash Bros. Ultimate, and you're gonna hear a lot of my rants about those later in the tier list. But Link is one of the better ones. His sword is really, really good. The bow and arrow of his B move is the bow and arrow. It's not that great at all. You're better off just using the A button for attacking. His recovery is good, as are most of the sword fighters. And the final smash is pretty much going to be an insta-kill. So that we're going to put Link in the A tier here for that. So I think that's a good spot to put him. He's a very useful character. At least I thought so. So, yeah, he's pretty good. And then we got Samus up. Samus has an okay recovery. The A and B attacks are both good. The B attack is hard to make effective, however, because you have to sit there and let her charge up the gun. There's plenty of characters who have that exact same problem. Even Donkey Kong is really one of them. And it just does not. It's not in high percentage of battle situations, it's not going to be the best choice to go that way. The final smash is also very, very easy to avoid, making it pretty much useless unless you can stun the person and get them right away. So that's why I think Samus is going to have to go down. I did not like playing as Samus very much, so I'm going to put her in the D tier for there as well. And then Dark Samus. Dark Samus is up. Dark Samus is sort of similar to Samus. There are two dark versions of regular characters. The other one is Pit and Dark Pit. We'll get to them a little bit later. But for as Dark Samus, the recovery is horrible on Dark Samus compared to regular Samus. The A attack is a lot better, I think, but the B attack is pretty much useless. The final smash is also a lot harder to avoid. It's a lot bigger of a beam when the big blow comes along. However, but the consequence of that is that the gun is not as strong. The blast is not as strong, so it's even harder to really get a kill unless you're super high percentage or unless you're super close to the edge and you launch them so far away they can't recover, that kind of thing. The other attacks, though, do make up for it. I think Dark Samus has a lot more strength than regular Samus and is very strong. However, the recovery is where it's lacking. However, Dark Samus, I think, is a good position to put in the B tier. A good spot for him there. Now up to Kirby, as I would love to put Kirby in, as much as I'd love to put Kirby in the S tier, I can't bring myself to do it. Kirby has some very, very effective moves. The Rapid Punch is one of them. You get somebody locked in that Rapid Punch, it can rack up the percentage damages tremendously. It's really effective. The Ground Pound is great because it's a very effective ground pound. However, you just have to be careful because it is pretty easy to avoid. It's also very hard to activate. But luckily, unlike the next character on this list, because they switched them for some reason, the ground pound is easy to escape if you realize you're going to self-destruct. So that's good. It has to be a split-second decision though, because you're falling so fast. The hammer, it like Dark Samus's gun, or the gun, for Samus at least. If you get it charged up enough and it gets a hit, insta kill. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the damage level, anything. It's good, but it takes forever to charge up, and it's so detectable. And if you let it go, you do damage. So that's kind of a nerf on that. Also the ability to eat the opponent and gain their powers is good. However, it doesn't like it. It just picks and chooses when it wants to use Kirby's abilities and when it wants to use the person you ate's abilities. So that's not you. It's hard to choose. It's hard to remember which is which. So for that reason, we are gonna. I think Kirby's definitely an A tier character though. Good position to put it. But it's my main in the tournament usually, so I have to give a little bit of bias to that, but I can read it fairly. Now Yoshi, let's talk about Yoshi next up. The recovery is okay on Yoshi. The final smash is good, but only if you're on high percentage. If you're on low percentage, you're gonna most likely be fine. The ground pound is underrated, however, because it does a lot, like Kirby's ground pound, it does a lot of damage. However, it is very high risk, cannot escape it. You can self-destruct very easily with it, because it goes quicker than Kirby's, if that's even possible. And then the eating and spitting egg move, that's a good one to use on the edge. Because you can drop someone off the edge and it's really hard to get out of the egg, and so it's pretty, unless you have there's only a few characters that I can think that can get out of that move if they are put in that situation, and that's really good. The other egg move, which is similar to Sonic's ball rolling move that we'll get to a little bit later in the tier list, it's pretty weak compared to the other egg move that you can do, which is just shooting him out, and that one's good for launching as well. You get him off the thing. So Yoshi though, pretty underrated character. I'm gonna have to throw Yoshi in the A tier as well. I think I have to. I think it's one of the weaker A tier characters, but I can't put it on the same level as Donkey Kong and Samus, Dark Samus. I just can't. So it's going to go in the A tier for now. Now we're on to Fox. Fox is the recovery on Fox is really good. It's one of the better recoveries for character in Smash. The final smash is almost always an insta kill. you have to get really unlucky for it to not be an insta-kill. The dash ability is also really good if you know how to work it, because you can easily avoid attacks, throw off your opponent. The rapid kicking is really good. It's a lot like Kirby's rapid punching, except it goes away after a little bit. Kirby's rapid punch is really good because you stay in that position for the most part. You stay more grounded. However, the kick, you move backwards while it's going on, so you don't really get the same effect for that. The gun is only really for picking up damage percentage. I didn't really see it knocking back the opponent at all. They just kind of absorb the hit, take the percentage damage, and continue on. And Fox is also very, very speedy, very, very fast. And this is going to probably be my first 8 of the A tier character there for Fox. So that's a good position to put him in. However, if you don't know how to work him, I would not recommend playing as him as a character. So, because he does, especially with the dash ability, it takes a little bit of getting used to, for sure. And then we're up to Pikachu, the champion of Amiibo Tournament number 1. Pikachu's recovery is a one-trick pony. It's one of the not as great recoveries in the game. Pikachu really doesn't also have a very heavy-hitting move. His final smash is good, but it's not great. A lot of his moves are just really weak electrocution moves. So it's really hard to get a big hit. It's really hard to launch people, especially if you're playing as a heavy like Donkey Kong. You're pretty much just going to have to try and get them to self-destruct, or hope that you can rack up the percentage and then use a special on them. Pikachu is not a great character at all. Probably a good position to put him in as the D tier. So I'm going to put him right there. Then we're on to Luigi. His A moves, his A button attacks are OP as hell. I was so surprised playing Luigi how crazy that is. The final smash is also so much better than Mario's. It's an almost insta kill every single time. There's lots of variety for the B attack as well, which is not something that a lot of the other characters can say. But they're all pretty good. They're not as good as the A attack, obviously. That's hard to beat, but they are all pretty good. And the recovery for Luigi, though, is where he kind of lacks. It's not that great. That's what's preventing him from going in the S tier. So we're going to have to put him in the A tier. Because recovery, you don't think it's really going to be that big of a thing, but levels where you do need recovery, it can hurt to do that and put out all the work and just fail like that. And then Ness has one of the best recoveries in the game, contrary to Luigi. It's easy to stun opponents with him, though that really doesn't do much. And once your opponent figures it out, it's not really that effective. The final smash is really easy to avoid, but it's one of the few final smashes where you don't have to lock on to an opponent or lock onto opponent, and you can do it every time. But that makes it more avoidable than most of the other final smashes. So that's good at least. But overall, I think Ness is a pretty solid character. I think he's going to go in the C tier, though. He's one of the weaker characters, I thought. But it's a fun character to play. And I bet if you get used to him, I think he can be pretty effective. But we're going to put him in the C tier. And then Captain Falcon up next. I heard a lot of bad things about Captain Falcon before playing him. Many of his main moves are very mid. I realized that pretty right away. To be fair, the recovery is also just mid. The final smash, though, is where his strong suit is. It isn't insta-kill all the time. He's also very agile, very easy to avoid attacks. His recovery, yeah, it's okay, but, the agility, he can move around. It's not as hard to get launched and fall off the edge. He is pretty hard to get control of, though, because of the agility. But I think because of the final smash alone, that bumps him up to the C tier. I cannot put him in the D tier for that reason. I wouldn't recommend playing as him, but you get that kind of leeway there. And then Jigglypuff. These next 3 characters, I should say. Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff has one of the worst final smashes out of any character in the game. And also, falling asleep is not a good B move. Who thought that was a good idea? to put that in the game. That's so stupid. And one of the worst Final Smashes. The recovery is really, really good though for Jigglypuff. I will say Jigglypuff does definitely have one of the best recoveries in the game. Other than that though, I mean, it's pretty much just a knockoff Kirby for Jigglypuff. But it's definitely not as good as Kirby because the Final Smash is horrible. But Jigglypuff, because of the recovery and all that stuff, is definitely going to stay in the D tier. I think that's a good place to put Jigglypuff. I hate Jigglypuff with a passion because why is the B move always falling asleep? That's so stupid. It's a nerf against you. So dumb. And then Peach. And then we get Peach and Daisy, actually, because we're going to put them together. Because they're the same thing. They're the same character. Really? I mean, I get why they're the same character, but really? You had to make them the same thing? They're horrible. Their special is somehow worse than Jigglypuff, which is crazy. They only really have 2 effective moves, and they're pretty mid and everything considerable. I mean, they can do damage. They're not horrible. They're not supposed to be the best move that they have, though. They're extremely predictable for that reason as well, because they only have 2 moves that work. The recovery is really good, though, if used properly. And I say used properly because you get so far off the edge or you don't activate the umbrella in time. I mean, it slows down, but you might miss it and whatever. No. Peach and Daisy are both going in the E tier. I don't know why you would ever want to play as any of these characters. Why would you ever want to do that to yourself? Don't ever do that to yourself, please. Alright, now we're on to Bowser, another heavy character. Fun thing about Bowser is you got multiple ways to ground pound. I think there's 2 or 3 reasons of ways to ground pound with Bowser. The punches aren't that great. They're not as effective as I feel like they should be, like they are at Donkey Kong. The recovery is awful, just as any heavy usually is. The special is almost always insta-kill though. Like Ness, you don't need to lock on to somebody in order to activate the Final Smash. You pick who you want to hit afterwards. You have to really aim though. The aiming is extremely crucial with Bowser. And I guess sometimes the heavy, it's really all about the timing with Bowser. It really is. But if used effectively, he is one of the better characters in the game. I'm going to put him on the same level as Donkey Kong for that reason in the B tier. So, not my favorite character to use, just because he was a little hard to get control of, but I've seen other people play really well with him, so I can see why he's such a good character. Now we're on the Ice Climbers. I don't like Ice Climbers either. I think they're both awful. There's 2 of them, but they both do the same thing, and they don't do it well. So they don't really give an advantage. It's for to have 2 of them there. Especially since you only need to launch the blue one in order to get the kill. So, why? But, I mean, if you can land a hit with Ice Climbers, I guess it's pretty effective. The special is very, very avoidable. Unless they pin you on the top of the stage, you're probably fine. In the recovery, it's not nothing special. The movesets is not great. This is a very complicated character to play as, and it's just not a great not a great gameplay. They're gonna go in the E tier as well. Because again, they're more usable than Peach and Daisy, but not by enough to put them up to another tier. And I don't think Peach and Daisy deserve to fall into the F tier, so that's why we're putting them in the E tier. Now we're on to Sheik. Sheik's a lot like Captain Falcon. Very good, very good with speed, very agile, very quick. Okay recovery. The Final Smash is always nearly an insta-kill as well. The moveset is very predictable. Though and easy to beat, though there are more effective moves than if you play like Peach or Daisy, so that's why it's better. The rope move is inconsistent. There's a few of these where they have like a whip, chain, rope thing to attack, and most of them are pretty consistent. Sheik's is not, but when you get it, hit it, it hits hard. It will work. So Sheik, I think, is going to go in the C tier. You have to aim him or her correctly, but not. It's pretty average character, I should say, for that one. Now we get Zelda. Zelda's recovery is okay. The Final Smash isn't extremely effective, but you time it right, it's pretty good. The moves are strong though if it's very used properly. She's also very agile, hard to get a good hit on. So if you know how to play Zelda well, she definitely is a good character to use. That's why she's going to go in the B tier. She can be effective. Her big hit moves, though, are not as great as I think they should be. They don't par up to the same level as the rest of the moves that she has. And also, you get her stunned on a recovery thing. Good luck. Good luck, I say. And then we have Dr. Mario, the winner of Amiibo Tournament number 2. The pill shooting is funny, but it's not extremely effective. The moves are all very weak for Dr. Mario. This very, very weak character. I don't know how he won Amiibo Tournament number 2. His final smash is very similar to Mario's, except it's pills instead of fire. The recovery, again, is just okay. It's very, very similar to Mario. So we'll probably throw it in the same tier as Mario in C tier. You know how to play him, he can probably be same thing with all these characters. You know how to play him, you know how to play him well, they're very effective, but I wouldn't pick Dr. Mario to main anything. I really wouldn't. Then we're on to Pichu. Pichu is very, very, very similar to Pikachu, but a lot more effective, which shouldn't be because he's smaller. And the hits are not necessarily bigger, but they are more they're easy, more stun ability, and they do more damage, and the special is stronger and everything like that. So that's why I'm gonna bump him up. I'm gonna put Pichu in the B tier. I think it's easier to control than Pikachu, and so that's why I think it's a good spot to put in the B tier. Now, Falco is the same as Fox. Literally everything is the same as Fox. That is, as you get Falco. So Falco is an easy A tier selection there. You like playing as Fox, you're gonna like playing as Falco. You like playing as Falco, you're gonna like playing as Fox. Nothing else to say. Marth. I was very pissed at Marth. Marth has horrible recovery when it matters. Seriously, every time it was so bad. He's just another generic sword fighter when it all comes down to it. Not really much else to offer unique to the table, which kind of sucks. This final smash, though, is very, very good. I cannot put him on the same level as Link, but I will put him on the same level as Pichu in the B tier. Because if you can avoid the horrible recovery and you can tolerate just the blandness of being a regular sword fighter, and you like the final smash, you'll do good as Marth. Not saying any of these generic sword fighters are bad, but I'm saying they're just unoriginal at the end of the day. So that's why I have kind of a bias against them. Now, Lucina, same with Marth. Lucina going in B tier. Nothing else to really say there. I think it's just a female version of Marth. But there's separate characters in the game. Young Link is also pretty much the same as regular Link. So I'm going to put Young Link in the A tier. There you go. Ganondorf. I used to hate Ganondorf. He used to be one of the worst characters in Smash when he was on the Wii U. He's still extremely slow moving. He has horrible recovery. He's like a heavy, but he's not built the same way. He moves so slow. His horrible recovery. Really only 2 good moves, but those 2 good moves are extremely powerful and extremely effective. The problem is they take so long to charge up and so long to execute because he's so slow. But the one where you're just like, that one, that's an insta kill. The hammer can pretty much do a ton of damage as well, but you gotta charge him up and you gotta be ready. And the final smash is also very, very bad. It's very easily avoidable. I'm sorry, Ganondorf, you're going in the D tier. I'd rather play you over Peach, Daisy, or Ice Climbers, but not over really anything else that's on this list so far. And then we're on to Mewtwo. Mewtwo's final smash is okay. Her moveset is extremely effective, though. The moves are inconsistent and jank, however. It's really hard to get a consistent hit, and that kind of downgrades her abilities a little bit. The recovery isn't great, but it is tolerable. Like, if you're in a life, or if you're right on the edge, you're going to notice it, but otherwise, I think you'll be okay. So it's at least tolerable, unlike a lot of these other characters. But I'm going to put Mewtwo probably... Whoa, what the fuck did I just do? Okay, anyway, we're going to do... I think he's better than Dr. Mario, but not better than, not the same level as like Lucina or Marth. We'll probably put her in the C tier. I think it's a good spot for her to go. Now we're into Roy. This is just another generic sword fighter. So, nothing really too special to say there. He's going to go in the B tier. Chrom, same thing. Chrom is very similar to the other Sword Fighters. He does seem to be quite a bit stronger than most of the other ones. So I will put him on the same level as Link, though, and Young Link in the A tier. So, pretty good. Now on to Mr. Game & Watch. The movements are extremely jank. It's because of his character build. He's 80s bit movements kind of thing. Lots of a variety for attacks, and you can see that when he has his amiibo figures, how many different versions he can get into, many shape forms, and the attacks that come along with that are all really cool. However, none of them are really that effective, so yeah, they're cool, but they don't really do a whole lot. The Final Smash is also very, very underwhelming for Mr. Game & Watch, so he's going to go in the D tier. Right there. That's a pretty good spot to put him. Now, Meta Knight. Meta Knight is OP in all facets. This is going to be our first S tier character. Meta Knight, the winner of the most recent Amiibo tournament at the time of this video being recorded, or Amiibo Tournament 9, I should say, is OP in all facets. There's only a few of those in this list, so they're going to make the S tier. Meta Knight was the fucking SpongeBob first one. Now we're up to the pits. There's a Pit and Dark Pit. Pit is very strong. Very strong. Lots of heavy hits. I did not expect that as playing Pit. Good recovery. Final Smash is insta-kill, but only if you aim it correctly. So that's Dark Pit. The Pit is a very solid character. Not on the same level as Meta Knight, but is a fun character to play as well. Dark Pit is the same thing. Except the Final Smash is a lot worse than regular Pits. However, I don't see that really as a reason to put it on the B tier, so it's going to stay in the A tier. Actually, no, we're going to move Dark Pit down to B. Yeah, because the Final Smash is so much worse than regular Pit for Dark Pit. But otherwise, it's pretty much the same thing, so if you don't matter too much, you won't really see the difference. So just be aware of that. Now we're on to Zero Suit Samus. Zero Suit Samus, very similar to Samus, except the gun isn't as good, and the Final Smash is better, in my opinion. Like the gun that comes out our arm, I don't think it's as good. But the Final Smash is a lot better. So we're probably... But see, the gun wasn't as really that good to begin with for regular Samus. But the Final Smash is a lot better. But not, is it really that much better? We'll stick Zero Suit Samus probably in the B tier. B tier is probably a good spot for her. So, and that is it for the Samuses. Now we're on to Wario. Wario blew me away. Wario is really, really OP. The motorcycle is hilarious. The eating power is so funny. It's not like you absorb the powers like Kirby, but you get damage and you deal damage to your opponent and you heal, which I think is really, really cool. And the fart thing is hilarious. I was dying laughing so many times. The fart thing is fun. I know, it's just a fart, but still. The Final Smash, though, is pretty mid. I want to put Wario in the S tier so badly, but I just can't bring myself to do it. Because there's a couple things he is lacking in. So we're going to put him in the A tier. Wario, though, blew me away. Jesus Christ. Surprised he has not gone on and won a tournament yet. Which is crazy to me. And then we're on to Snake. Snake I feel like Snake is more of a better brawler character than a gun character, but they make him a gun character, he uses the gun way too much. The melee is just, what melee does have is just okay. The Final Smash is jank, it takes way too long, and it just doesn't have the same, it doesn't deliver on the promise that it implies at the beginning. So Snake can be effective if you like him and use him correctly. However, there are much better options in that regard. I think he's a good place to put with Sheik and Captain Falcon in the C tier. So, there you go. And then Ike. Ike, another generic sword fighter. Woohoo! Going in the B tier. Nothing really to talk about there. Pokemon Trainer. The 3 different Pokemon is really cool. We're going to see, they've got them separated here. But I'm going to rank them all in the same spot. Because you play them as the same character, so Rip Charizard, Rip Charizard playing he was used to be his own character, now he's got to stick with these guys. Ivysaur and Squirtle are horrible, but Charizard is really good still, so that makes up for it. So I don't know, I could put Squirtle. How about we rank them separately? We'll do Squirtle and Ivysaur down in F. We'll put Charizard up in the B tier. think that's a good spot to put him. And then Pokemon Trainer in general, I think we'll meet in the middle and put Pokemon Trainer in D tier. That's a good spot to put it. So for generic character. So yeah, Ivysaur and Squirtle are completely useless. They are horrible, and they suck in all facets. So, and then Diddy Kong is up next. The attacks are mid. The final smash is good if it has a high percentage. But even then, it might not even work. The recovery is really good, but it does not work if he's attacked, which in some of these, I think Marth, that was the case as well. So he's another solid, probably C tier character. I did not enjoy playing as Diddy Kong, but I can see why other people would. So that's just my opinion. And then Lucas, not the Lycanmyphri that we know, but the Lucas in the game. Myphri, similar to Ness, but with a much, much worse recovery. Yeah, he's very, very bad recovery. The rest of the hits are okay. But for that reason, we're probably going to stick him down in the D tier. Just because the recovery is horrible. And I don't usually like to nerf him just for that, but for this reason, in this case, yes, you have to. Now Sonic is up next. The ball move, like I said, in the Yoshi thing, it's funny. It's pretty funny, and it is effective if you can time him right and you can aim him correctly. But that's really his only good move. The special is very, very mid. The recovery is okay. So we're probably going to stick him. He's not on the Diddy Kong level. We'll stick him in the B tier. That's a good spot for him. You know how to play Sonic, and you can avoid. It's easy to avoid other attacks as well because how speedy he is. But not my choice. Not my choice. King Dedede up next. King Dedede, surprisingly, is very similar to Kirby, but it's basically like a heavy Kirby. The hammer also doesn't. The hammer's not as effective either. In my opinion, it's extremely underpowered and and I feel like that was an on-purpose move on their part. But other than that, the recovery is the same. The jumping is the same. There's a ground pound option, which I also don't think is as effective. But it's a heavy, so it doesn't not as easy to launch though. So we're gonna probably even it out. Put him a spot below Kirby in the B tier. I think is a good place to put King Dedede. If you can effectively use this ground pound. The hammer, yeah, I wish they would upgrade the hammer. Maybe for the next Smash game, upgrade the hammer for King Dedede. That could bump him up to the A tier, or depending on what they do, even bump him up to the S tier. That alone is his really weak point for King Dedede. Olimar is up next. I do not like Olimar in Smash, and that's another character that I would, Pikmin. It's one of my favorite game franchises. The Pikmin are, again, his only good thing, his only effective move, but they're not even that good. They're not even that good, and they're not even that good in the grand scheme of things. Like, they do damage, and they can throw you off, but they're easy to avoid. They don't do a whole lot of damage. My opinion is, how the hell did this guy even almost win I think it was Amiibo Tournament 3 he almost won. Definitely an E tier character there, which sucks. I like Olimar, but his moveset's horrible. I do not remember him being that bad, but I guess so. Now we got Lucario. Lucario is a one that may be a little controversial where I put him. He's pretty OP, all things considered. The recovery isn't the greatest, but very, very powerful. The moves are all very, very hard hitting. The final smash is probably his strongest portion. He's speedy, he's fast, and he does pretty much everything, but his recovery is going to nerf him. I'll consider it, but for now he's going in the A tier. Lucario's going in the A tier. I'm sorry. Maybe we'll move him up to S by the end of the tier list, because we're not even close. Look at all these guys still got left. Rob. Now I gotta rip on Rob. I mained Rob while I was playing Smash on the Wii U for the longest time. I don't think he really got nerfed in Ultimate, but his flaws are definitely more realized. His only really good move is the spin move. The final smash is one of the worst in the game. I think it's awful. good luck being able to do any other moves with him besides those two, because like you can punch, but they barely does anything. You can try and jump, and maybe you can fly. I mean, it is. You have to get some. You have to really like get a little bit, some good amount of luck along with your skill, if you're able to win anything with Rob. And Rob is one of the worst characters in the game. Tried playing him on the Switch. He is awful, so I put him in the E tier. Sorry, Rob. If you were in the Wii U, I'd probably bump you up a little bit more, but your control buttons got moved around, and that just makes it a lot hard to get effective anymore. So, sorry, buddy. I still like him, though. Toon Link is pretty much the same as the other Links. His Final Smash is slightly different, but that's pretty much it. Does not garner an S tier ranking. Put him in the A tier. Pretty much the same there. Wolf's a better version of Fox and Falco, but not enough to put him in the S tier. But know that he is. Well, that's the B tier. Fuck. No, we can put him in the A tier. Yeah, pretty much the same as Fox and Falco. A little bit better, I say, because the gun is more useful. And a few other things are a little bit more hard hitting in other areas as well. So, and then Villager. Villager should not be as nearly as good as he is. The Final Smash is extremely underwhelming, however, compared to his other moves. Because, you know, he's all having moves, and you're kicking ass with them, and then all of a sudden, the Final Smash comes along, and it's a pretty shitty one at that. Otherwise, though, he would be probably A tier, but we're gonna put him in the B tier. Yeah, he's not OP like fucking Meta Knight is, but bam, you can really get some damage done with him. He should not be nearly as good as he is. I thought he was gonna be like Ness or Lucas. No, he's a little bit better than both of them, I should say. Now Mega Man is definitely one of the worst in the game. Think Samus, but anything that doesn't make Samus good. Except for the recovery. Samus's Mega Man's recovery is better than Samus, and that's the only reason why he's not going in the F tier. We're gonna stick him in the E tier. So yeah, I don't know how anybody can main Mega Man. I really don't. There's Olimar, same thing. Rob, same thing. I can't main Rob anymore. Peach, Daisy, Ice Climbers. I don't know how you can main him. I really don't. Wii Fit Trainer, though. The recovery is amazing on Wii Fit Trainer. The healing ability is good. Though it only does like a little bit at a time. It takes a while to activate, but it's good. Especially if you're on that like high level situation. You know, in the grand scheme of things, it really doesn't matter that much, but it's nice that it's there. You know what I'm saying? The Final Smash is basically just Mario's, but with a little bit like extra kick at the end. It definitely increases its hit ability, but not anything. They could have gone a little more unique, I thought. But and then the healing ability does limit the amount of attacks that Wii Fit Trainer can do overall, which it doesn't matter that much. I think all the attacks that she or he has, depending on who you play as, are effective. There could have been more though. I think adding some extra hits would have done her better. But she's gonna go in the B tier. Also a really rare amiibo that I have acquired, so that's pretty cool. Put her in the B tier. Yes, it's pretty much a stronger Mario all around, with a little more limited attack range sort of thing. Actually, we're gonna bump her up to A tier. Yeah, we're gonna put her in A tier. Wii Fit Trainer going to A tier. And then we got Rosalina and Luma. I wish Luma actually did something. Luma does nothing. You can kill Luma, and she'll come back, or he'll come back. I don't know what gender Luma is, but does really nothing. The Final Smash is also very, very avoidable. If you get stuck in it somehow, it can do damage. It can do a good amount of damage, but it's very easy to avoid. The rest of the attacks aren't that effective. They're kind of like otherwise Peach and Daisy with the kicks and stuff. The recovery is a little bit different, but it's not the greatest. And again, Luma's very, very just there for looks, pretty much. We're going to put her probably in the D tier as well. Fun amiibo to pick up. Hard one to pick up, though, too. And then Little Mac's, the KO ability on Little Mac kind of acts as like a second Final Smash, which is really, really cool. Both of them are really, really effective. They do a ton of damage, almost pretty much insta-kill at anything like above like 50% damage. The recovery on Little Mac, though, is his weak point. it should be really good because he's like one of those very agile brawl characters. His recovery, I'd say, is probably the worst in the game. It is awful. You get one jump, and that is it. And man, even some of the worst recovery characters, even fucking Ivy, Stormbolt, and Squirtle, are better than that. Little Mac is, but avoid that though, and you're good. So you at least get that. So, but man, the recovery is awful, and that really prevents. He should be an A or a B tier character, but that recovery, again, like I said with Lucas, it doesn't make an effect too much for most of these characters, but for Little Mac, it does. It is awful. Now, Greninja, on the contrary to Little Mac, Greninja's recovery is amazing. Speedy, the final smash is just okay. I expected a little more out of it. The other moves are good, but they're not always accurate, and that's just the consequence with him being a speedy character. But if you know how to play him and you can figure it out a little bit better than I can, Greninja can be a very, very effective character to play as in the game. For that reason, I'm going to probably stick him in the B tier. Some other people might put him in A, some people might put him in S. I'm going to put him in B. That's just where I feel like he goes in my rankings, my notes, everything like that. So yeah, you can rip on me all you want in the comment section, guys. Geez. But Palutena is up next. One of the best looking amiibos. We'll get to the Miis a little bit later. But we'll do Palutena first because she is really, really, really good overall character. Well-rounded character. Not like fat, but like well-rounded in far movesets and abilities. The final smash isn't very unique, I'd say, but it's extremely effective. The other attacks are really good, and she has amazing recovery. There's no one ability, in my opinion, that really stands out because she's so well-rounded. But she's not OP level, and that's why she's only going to go into the A tier. So yeah, there you go. I guess we'll do the Miis now, I guess. And they're all going to go in the C tier. They're nothing special. They're all generic. My Switch does not register Gunner, Brawler. Registers only Gunner and Sword Fighter. Brawler, but they're just the Miis. It's cool that you can like make your Miis, like personal, like made Miis on your Switch, and you can make those, put those in the game. Those are cool. But as far as movesets go and specials go, they're all very generic and not that effective. So you probably have to like mod it up a little bit with the controls and stuff like that to make it work. And you can make any of these characters work really. They're mid, like Mario, they're kind of like base characters. So next up is Pac-Man. Pac-Man is a pretty average character as far as it goes, move-wise. His final smash is made really, really well because it comes back in. It goes around like 3-4 times even, which guarantees pretty much at least once you're going to hit your opponent and get an insta-kill. If you don't get it the first time, you get it the second time, third time, fourth time, that kind of thing. 99% of the time you're going to get it, unless the character's like, I don't know if it goes across the same spot or you can aim it where it goes. So, whatever. The recovery on Pac-Man is also really, really good. But I don't know. The rest of the moves are just pretty average. So I'm going to have to stick them in the B tier on that regard. So then we're on to Robin, another generic sword fighter. Yay! How original that is. The final smash is good, but it's cool. It doesn't have a very high launch rate. The recovery is also really good on Robin, but it's another generic sword fighter. You know where they go. And Robin. Oh no, we already said Robin. Shulk. Shulk is up next. The wheel is another generic sword fighter. The wheel changed from like jumper to smash to like, I don't know what the ones you recall. I remember. It doesn't not very useful. I tried it out. I tried them all. It does not very useful. And the final smash recovery are just okay. Nice little B tier there. I just hate how many of these there are. I hate how many of them there are. There's way too many. They're all the Fire Emblem characters are sword fighters, and they're all the same moveset, all same generic. It's just so annoying. But anyway, continuing on. Bowser Jr. The A button is where you want to focus your attention here. The B is almost going to be a self-destruct every time. It's unlike Wario's motorbike where you can make it turn around. No, you go straight off the edge, and the recovery on Bowser Jr. is decent, but it's not going to be good enough. You're going to go way too far out for it to work for here, especially since you have to switch automatically almost, and most of the time you're just not going to have that strong of a reaction time for it. The final smash is also really dumb on Bowser Jr. and it will really only do anything if you're on a super, super high percentage. But otherwise, it's pretty dumb. But Bowser Jr., he's okay. It's not the greatest character. So, when I said the A button is your way to go, it's not like it's OP. It's just more doable. It's not self-destructing every time and then dying. That kind of thing. Now we have up to Duck Hunt, I believe. Yes, up to Duck Hunt. This is a very boring character. Recovery is amazing on this one. It's one of the best recoveries in the game. The moveset, though, is extremely boring and generic. The final smash is okay. It's not that great. It's cool looking. It's a nice break from the monotony that's the rest of his movesets, but it's not that great. For that reason, we'll have to. The recovery, though, I have to take a look at because it's one of those characters that can avoid. I forget who I said that was, but they can avoid set attack. Maybe it's. Yoshi's. It's that Duck Hunt's definitely one of those characters that could do that could survive Yoshi's shit egg thing, for sure. But otherwise, it's very mid. It's a C tier. So. And then we're on to Ryu. Ryu's not a sword fighter. It's really easy to beat. His moves are all very mid. It's in Brawler. He does get the Hadouken thing. Hadouken. That's not very effective, but he has it. The final smash though is just basically a larger Hadouken, and so it's not very original. It's also not extremely effective. And just basically for Ryu, think sword fighter, but without the sword. So he's going to be a nice mid. Actually, we're going to put him in the D tier. He's a D tier character. And people who main Ryu, I feel bad for you. I really do. Maybe you can find a way to get him. I don't know. But definitely not for me. And then Ken. It's pretty much the same thing as Ryu, except without the Hadouken. Final smash though is a lot better, as are his B moves. This is not the Ken from Barbie, but no. Whoa, hello, what did I just do? Oh god, oh jeez, oh days. There we go. We're gonna put him in the C tier. He is, I think, overall better than Ryu, but not anything special. So, it's a good thing. And then we're on to Cloud, the winner of Amiibo Tournament number 3. His A and B moves are all both very similar. I don't know what the limit bar thing is on him, but for me, it did absolutely nothing, and I didn't get to experiment with it that much. The final smash is also pretty generic, all things considered. The recovery is okay if it actually works. It rarely ever worked for me, and that really sucked. It's not even that he got hit either. He doesn't even have an excuse like Diddy Kong does. No, he just sucked at it, and it really annoyed me. Again, how did he win Amiibo Tournament number 3? I don't know. Played against him a bunch of times, and the CPUs you take it with a grain of salt because they can do shit that you can't. They can break the game and do whatever the fuck they want. They're CPUs. You can't do that. So I rank them on how I play as them, not as how CPUs do. So for Cloud can be useful. More so than Ryu and Rosalina and Lucas and all those guys. So he's going to go in the C tier there. So, and then there's Corrin. Another basic sword fighter. How many fucking of these are there going to be? Oh, you're going to see. I put that in my notes. Like, how many of these are there? There's so many of them. Look at them all. Like, disregard the Lynx and Marth and stuff for a second. And just look at these guys. Look at how many of them there are. That's crazy. I think Bayonetta is very underrated in my opinion. She has extremely powerful hits. The final smash, though, is another very unoriginal one. It's just an item. It's like just the same thing as an item you get in the game. You slow down time. You can activate that item to play in any match. Now you need to play Bayonetta. which sucks. I think Bayonetta's Final Smash had a lot more higher potential. Maybe there's a reason. I think there's probably a reason why it's that. But I wish they had done something a little bit better in that regard. But underrated for sure. She's, though, probably... I'm going to put her in the A tier. She's very powerful. The Final Smash does... She had a better Final Smash, then she probably would be contending for the S tier. I do think so. Really blew me away if Bayonetta did. Now, Inkling. This character did not blow me away. The big blast gun crap. I mean, how many of these characters have the big blast gun as their Final Smash? Too many of them, and Inkling is one of them. The rest of the moves they're just okay. They're not great. The recovery has a lot of potential. You know, you can get a pretty high launch up with the recovery, but the side to side movement, I don't know if I really nitpicked this or not, but it seemed like you couldn't, like, the side to side, like, you go up and you can barely go over as you go back down. I don't know why, but it seems like there's more potential for that than there actually was. But no, Inkling was a very bad character in my opinion. It's gonna go in the D tier. Now, Ridley is basically a Dark Charizard in my opinion. Maybe it's because I fought Charizard with Ridley, which was not planned. The recovery is horrible for Ridley. The Final Smash is really detailed. It's also really fun. It's not necessarily the most powerful Final Smash, but I think it is definitely a better one. But it's very, very strong and powerful. So it's going to be another A tier for me. Good one. Good on you, Ridley. That was another one that kind of blew me away. And then we got Richter and Simon. I'm going to put these guys in the same tier. The whip, because they both are pretty much the same moveset. The whip chain is absolutely OP here. They do it right. Unlike they do, I don't remember who the other guy was. Probably, I think it was Sheik or whatever. The whip chain is OP here. The rest of the moves, though, because of that, are very, very irrelevant. The Final Smash is almost always an insta-kill, and they're literally the same thing for both of these guys. I think these are two very solid characters if you know how to play as them. However, they are pretty much one-trick ponies. So you have to, that's an asterisk you have to put next to them. But they are both going to go in the A tier for me, simply because even though they are one-trick ponies, those one tricks are some of the most powerful tricks in the entire game. So... and then we got King K. Rool, a rare good recovery on a heavy character here. That was genuinely surprised by that. The moves are powerful. They're not the greatest, other than you can't ground pound, which I thought you could. The gun thing is pretty cool, but this is also one of my favorite Final Smashes in the entire game, and it's also extremely effective. King K. Rool definitely blew me away. Even though I had played with him a few other times, he's definitely going to go in the A tier as well. Right there. So, and then Isabelle. The A move is okay, but the B move is absolutely horrible. She's also very... You can be standing right next to the Smash Ball, and she will miss it somehow. It's so annoying. The Final Smash is her biggest thing that she's got going for her. It's pretty good. Medium to high percentage levels, it's pretty much a guaranteed death, so that you get that going for you. The recovery on Isabelle, though, is amazing. I'd say it's probably second best in the game, just behind Duck Hunt. Maybe even, it depends on what situation. Maybe even better than Duck Hunt, depending on what better situation you're in. So, but other than that, I mean, she doesn't really have anything else going for her. She's probably going to go in the C tier. I'm sorry, it's a horrible character. And not horrible overall. She's a bunch of horrible shit. My God. Now, Incineroar is extremely underrated. I said Bayonetta was underrated. Incineroar, holy crap. He hits like a heavy character because he's built more like that, but he moves so fast for a heavy. The Final Smash is very underwhelming. It looks really cool, but it doesn't hit as hard as I think it should. The recovery is okay, but just watch out because he goes up and then he'll dive back down. So if don't do a double hit, do just a single. You'll get up high enough, you grab onto a ledge, and then you can do a dive down as well. It kind of mixes into both, but just watch out because if you're trying to get far up, it will bite you and you will SD. So just worry about that. Uh, and he has a very good, well-rounded variety of moves. I'm very tempted to put Incineroar in the S tier, but he just does not have the same OP level. I was just blown away by him. Really solid character. Definitely would recommend trying him out and trying to main him in the game. We already did the Miis. So now we're on to all of the DLC characters. So there are 12 officially in the game. We'll get these guys later. That's where the additions come along. But let's start with Piranha Plant. Piranha Plant's going in the F tier. Sorry. Piranha Plant is going in the F tier. This guy must have just been a meme edition, honestly, from Sakurai. His moves are all suck. The final smash is awful. All of his recovery is awful. Oh, I want to learn how to play as Piranha Plant, but oh my god, is he horrible. Horrible. I cannot stand him as playable. But thankfully, it was a fun meme edition at least. So, then we got, I think that it would be Joker up next. He's a good mix of a generic sword fighter and a generic shooter, and it works. The grappling hook effect is definitely where he gets his unique ability from. It's cool, and it's nice that it has multiple uses. You can use it as a whip, though if you use it as a whip, don't expect it to be as strong as Richards or Simon's, but it's still very, very useful. It also really helps boost up his recoverability. He's really good there. The meter, I didn't find it to be that necessary in the footage that I found, and I did play him as a little bit, but at least has a purpose, even though it really isn't that necessary. So, but he's okay, I guess. I'm gonna put him in the B tier. So generic. Put generic in the name. You kind of have to put him in B tier. And then we got Hero. Yay! Another sword fighter clone. How original. Yeah. That's pretty much it. So going into B tier as well. So not much else to talk about there. Then we got Banjo and Kazooie up next. To me, Banjo and Kazooie is a mix of Duck Hunt and King K. Rool, but a little bit better at each than both of them. The final smash though is just okay. Pretty easy battle predictability here. And so to me, I'm gonna put him in the B tier. I guess I did say that he's better than Snake and Ryu, but I mean, no, that's another one. Good mix of Duck Hunt, King K. Rool, but better than both. Though I did put him kind of meet in the middle, kind of thing. Put King K. Rool up here, Duck Hunt down here, and then you put Banjo and Kazooie there. So it's pretty good. Then we got Terry up next. The final smash on Terry is definitely where he excels. It's super epic, and it's almost always insta-kill. But otherwise, he's just pretty much like Snake and Ryu, so not that great. But the final smash will definitely bump him up to the B tier, so that's a good position to put him in my opinion. That's really his only redeeming quality, I should say. And then I think the next one is Byleth. Byleth up next. I think I have him as a amiibo, or Brian does, one of us. So, is a lot like Link, but he has much stronger hits. Now, does that make him an S tier character? No, but it definitely does make him an A tier character. So we're gonna put him in the A. No, don't put him in B. Put him in A. There we go. So, and then next up is Min Min. This one kind of blew me away as well. There's lots of cool different ways to play Min Min. Her recovery is really, really good. The final smash is cool and very powerful. And I think she has a lot of cool ability there. Being a small character, it's hard. It's really easy to launch her, so you play against the heavy. You might be a little bit of a disadvantage. But overall, I think Min Min's another easy A tier character here for me. So we're going to throw her in there as well. A lot of people liked when Min Min came out. And then we've got our only other S tier character, and that is none other than Steve. Steve, yeah baby. Steve is OP as hell. This was one of the best adds to Smash Bros. Definitely the best DLC add to Smash Bros. This year, and for Ultimate, and one of the best adds to the game in general. Oh my god, Steve is OP. It's crazy. So many different things you can do. They went all in on the detail for all the moves, sets, and everything like that. Amazing job on their part right there. And then next up, that would be, let's see, no. This is Sephiroth. I think that's how you Sephiroth. I'm going to call him that, it could be a different pronunciation. Please comment down below if there's a different pronunciation for it. But Sephiroth. Get gone. Yeah, another sword fire. Woohoo! Yay! Goodbye. Don't need to talk about that. Now we got Pyra and Mythra, and they did Pyra and Mythra separate, and then them together. You can only play them together in Smash. So I'm only going to rank them as such. I can't rank them separately. I can only put them together. This actually is going to be our third S tier character. They are what Ice Climbers was probably meant to be, and they failed horribly, for Ice Climbers at least. Here they did amazing. The duo aspect actually works, and they actually work as a duo. They each have their own movesets, own abilities, and that works out so well for them to be able to make it so much better, so much harder to beat them. The final smash is extremely powerful as a result. Another really good ad. I don't want to say as good as Steve, but a second definitely in the DLC. And then we have Kazuya, which I think plays very, very, very similar to Ryu, but it's much more powerful. The final smash is also insane with this guy. But other than that, not a whole lot to say, but definitely going to put him in the B tier there. And last but not least, the last addition to Smash Ultimates earlier this year, actually, it was Sora. The key thing I think is absolutely hilarious. Has a lot of moves similar to Ness and Lucas, but I think they're unique enough to be a good standalone character. And is a good all-around fighter. Like Palutena, there's really no one move that I'd say is stronger than another, and I think that's really good. The final smash is also very unique and very fun, and I think it's a good blend of all-around stuff to put in the last edition for Smash Ultimates. That's really good. Not the greatest character though. Probably gonna put him or her, I don't know their name, but in the B tier. I think is a good spot to do it. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's let's do our final rankings here. We got just 3 in the S tier. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 20, 23 in the A tier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 22, 27 in the B tier. And then 11, 27, no, 17 in the C tier. And then the D tier has just 3, 10. E tier has 6, and then 3 in the F tier. Now, I did not rank Mythra and Myra separately. So there you go. That is the tier list. And that is the tier list right there, like I said earlier, and like I just said. But where would you rank these guys? Would you rank them higher or lower? Who would you put in the S? Who's the best? Who's the worst? I'd like to know all your thoughts about these rankings here in the comment section down below. And I'd like to hear your thoughts on them. So, and I guess if you want to talk Pyra and Mythra, where would you rank them separately? I don't know. I just didn't get enough experience or enough notes about them to really rank them separately. So, but I can rank them together. So, that's going to do it for this tier list. Stay tuned for much more amazing content, tier lists, and the other fun stuff coming out to you. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Goodbye.